Man, it's a damn shame that Sheryl Swoopes has to defend herself for everybody coming at her because of her opinions about Caitlin Clark. The latest is Stephen A. Smith and Nancy Lieberman Klein. And it's ridiculous that she has to defend herself because of her opinion about a particular athlete. But before we get off in today's podcast, tell a friend to tell a friend. Man, it's a damn shame, man, that Sheryl Swoopes has to defend herself about everybody coming at her about her opinions over Caitlin Clark. We know who Sheryl Swoopes is, a basketball Hall of Famer, WNBA champion, a great career at Texas Tech, and she is known in the sports community and highly coveted. And it's a damn shame that she has to defend herself and people coming at her because of her opinions about a basketball player by the name of Caitlin Clark. People are going to social media, racial, stuff toward Sheryl Swoopes, which is ridiculous, just because she forms an opinion about a player. And everybody gets their panties up in a bunch because of her opinions. She has a right to support whoever she wants to support. And she's standing on business. And she's starting to clap back at everybody that's throwing shade at her. Now, her and Nancy Lieberman Klein have got into it. Now, the comments that Sheryl Swoopes has made about Caitlin Clark, that's her own opinion. Who cares about her opinions? But people's feelings are getting so hurt that they make it a big story and a big issue. Now it's like Stephen A. has came at her. They going back and forth. Shannon Sharpe has said some things. Now it seems like ever since Monica McNutt came on ESPN and ruffled some feathers a long time ago when she was talking about the WNBA and telling Stephen A. Smith that, hey, you had a platform. You should have been talking about the WNBA a long time ago. And that triggered a smoke bomb. That triggered a lot of things from the point where when you're talking about the WNBA, like Monica McNutt said, it ain't just Caitlin Clark. It's other NBA rookies that people are watching and things like that. But when Sheryl Swoopes makes her opinions, goes on her podcast, Queen of the Court podcast, and makes her opinions about Caitlin Clark, the big issue was about the rookie, the rookie of the year, and she had Angel Reese there. Another sister supporting another sister. She's backing Angel Reese up at all costs. She's down with Angel Reese, and everybody has a problem with that. And just because she's down with Angel Reese, everything that she says about Caitlin Clark, people take it as hate and negativity toward Caitlin Clark. They think that she's hating on Caitlin Clark, and it's terrible that she has to go on her defense to defend herself against all these people coming at her and all these people on social media, racially threats, death threats, and things like that. It's getting out of hand. She has a right to support whoever she wants to support, and she recently addressed all the accusations that she hates Caitlin Clark. Now, NBA legend Sheryl Swoopes and the Indiana Fever rookie Caitlin Clark have been connected for quite some time. Swoopes has been talking about Clark on her Queen of the Courts podcast throughout the Fever's guards rookie season. The four-time WNBA champion has been under fire for thoughts on Caitlin Clark since many fans believe Swoopes dislikes the first-year star. In August, she went on her podcast and talked about the Indiana Fever's success in latter half of the season and didn't give credit to Caitlin Clark for helping change the tide in Indiana. Swoopes mentioned Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, Katie Lou Samuelson as keys to the success for the Fever. What's the big deal? Just because she didn't mention Caitlin Clark, what's the big deal? Why did people get all up in arms because she didn't mention Caitlin Clark? I mean, I don't understand. And to get death threats over that because you leave out Caitlin Clark because she's part of the Indiana Fever. Then she said, given her inability to give Clark any praise for her generational rookie season, fans called out Swoopes for allegedly hating on the former Iowa Hawkeye star. Swoopes recently addressed those comments, mentioning that she does not dislike Clark and is actually a fan of the way she plays. She said the real problem she faced is having to deal with ugly fans who have sided with Caitlin Clark. I appreciate that, Swoopes said. Please know that I do not dislike her or hate her. I like her game too. It's all of the ugly fans that I don't care for. Thank you. And that's what I've been saying, man. It's the fans that make you dislike Caitlin Clark. It's the fans that people have an issue with. And it's getting ugly. It's getting out of hand. And Sheryl Swoopes basically made that clear. Just because she don't mention your favorite player, what's the problem? It's an opinion. She shouldn't be getting death threats. People shouldn't be calling her out. I done seen reports where she was forced to apologize to Caitlin Clark. For what? These are basketball opinions. Then there's other reports out there she was taken off of a telecast. She couldn't announce the Fever's game because of her bias toward Caitlin Clark. Come on, man. Give me a break. Man, she's talking basketball. Just because she don't mention somebody's favorite player, that's hating? So now, her and Nancy Lieberman are at it. They lifelong friends, man. Let's take a look at what, she said, the back and forth between her and Nancy Lieberman-Klein. Sheryl Swoopes fires back at Nancy Lieberman-Klein in the Caitlin Clark dispute. A rift in a friendship between a pair of women's basketball legends may be beyond repair in light of comments made by both Nancy Lieberman and Sheryl Swoopes over the past 24 hours. Different opinions about an impact current star Caitlin Clark and having on the game has driven a wedge between the Hall of Famers, with Lieberman saying the two no longer have a relationship anymore. My life is going to be good with or without Sheryl Swoopes, Lieberman said Monday in an appearance on ESPN personal radio station with Stephen A. Smith's podcast. Later that evening, Swoopes fired back on social media saying, my life is good without you too, and him. The disagreement, Lieberman told Smith, goes back to comments Swoopes made in February on former NBA star Gilbert Arenas' podcast, which has downplayed Clark breaking the NCAA career scoring record. Swoopes incorrectly stated that Clark had benefited from an extra year of eligibility due to the COVID pandemic when she passed Kelsey Plum as the all-time women's Division I leader in points. Lieberman said she called Swoopes as a friend to let her know about the era. Well, she got upset with me on the phone, Lieberman told Smith, and I was like, Sheryl, I'm not doing anything to hurt you. I'm just sharing, and so our relationship pretty much is not happening at this point. Lieberman also called out Swoopes for not even mentioning Clark on a recent episode of her podcast, despite praising several other members of the Indiana Fever on the team's hot streak since the Olympic break. However, Swoopes continued the impressions she has anything against Clark, even going as far as to post screenshots of an apparent text exchange between the two from February on her Twitter X account Monday afternoon. So guys, man, I'm telling you, man, this is straight up ridiculous. People are falling out with people because they form their opinion about Caitlin Clark. Now, two grown women in Sheryl Swoopes and Nancy Lieberman-Klein relationship can't be repaired because Sheryl Swoopes goes on and makes opinions about Caitlin Clark that Nancy Lieberman-Klein disagrees with. It's ridiculous, man. Two grown women. But I'm glad Sheryl Swoopes is standing on business, man. Just because you form an opinion about a player, that don't mean you don't like them or dislike them. So, I mean, come on, guys. I don't know what this is, man. Sheryl Swoopes is getting treated unfairly, man, by the media and all these Caitlin Clark fans and all these people that support Caitlin Clark. Sheryl Swoopes has a right to support who she wants. And last night it pissed off more people because she was at the Las Vegas Aces game. And you know who was in town? The Chicago Skies. And she was supporting Angel Reese. And that's what's running people hot because she supports Angel Reese and forms an opinion about Angel Reese and sides with Angel Reese and don't side with Caitlin Clark. Like I told you, if it don't fit their narrative, they not going to talk about it. And when Sheryl Swoopes stands on business, everybody must pay attention because she's standing on business. Now, please let me know what you think about today's podcast and Sheryl Swoopes' rift between her and Nancy Lieberman over Caitlin Clark, and also Stephen A. Smith going at her. They going back and forth, but I think, they'll get that worked out, but it's ridiculous. And this is going to wrap up another episode of Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. We're going to catch you on the next one. And remember, on your way out the door, before you put your shoes on, do me a favor. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you post your comments. Make sure you got your post notifications on. And we'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.